Every path in Buddhism leads back to emptiness because the realization of emptiness is what sets us free of suffering. When we talk about a Buddha, that word actually means awakened one, someone that is woken up from the sleep of ignorance and is now living in reality. It's nothing incredibly different than who we are, us, and Buddhas. Buddhas are just awake to reality. It's like we're all still asleep, but Buddhas have woken up. We're all in nap time. You know, fun little nap time. Well, not so fun. If you're having a nightmare, not so fun. Buddhists have woken up and now they're trying to wake us up as well. And when we talk about bodhicitta, this is under the whole course of developing universal love and compassion, this wish to attain enlightenment ourselves for the benefit of all beings. We wake up so we can wake up everyone else. That's the idea. And it comes from this incredible love and compassion for others. We take on that responsibility of waking everyone up. Now, ultimate bodhicitta is the realization of emptiness, how things actually exist, as opposed to the way they appear, as opposed to the world that has been pulled over your eyes.
It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
What truth?
That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind.
It's a world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. Now, Buddha, the ultimate expression of his wish to help us, is his attainment of enlightenment, which is this realization of reality, how things actually exist. When he went looking for a cure for suffering, which is what he did, he left being a prince. I mean, being a prince is pretty good. One day you're going to be a king. You got a hot wife, probably. I mean, she was apparently. I mean, you got everything good, everything good. He wasn't kicked out, like Prince Andrew. He wasn't, he left not because he wanted to marry Meghan Markle. Why did Buddha leave his palace? Because he couldn't bear that living beings suffered. He looked around and he saw the sufferings that we experience. He said, if there is a cure for this, and that was the belief in India at the time, that there was a cure. Enlightenment was a concept. There was an awakening that was possible for living beings. He said, if there is this cure, I'm going to find it. If somebody can teach it to me, I will learn it. But nobody could teach it to him. It was his discovery. It was that he had to find it for himself. And what he discovered was when he realized reality exactly as it is, when he woke up from the sleep of ignorance, all suffering ended. This was the cure that he discovered. And so it is this manifestation of his bodhicitta, and we call it then ultimate bodhicitta. It's the ultimate expression of this wish to help all beings. And our wish to help others can be realized through understanding emptiness. And that's just a gradual thing. It's not like you're going to get this one class on emptiness, like, boom, I'm awake, everyone. Here I am. It's not going to happen that quickly. But every small step towards realizing emptiness lessens our own suffering. As you're peeling back the layers of misconception, you suffer less and the people around us suffer less. I mean, right? When we suffer, others suffer. We can't help it. Other people are so impacted by us. And nothing cuts through suffering more than emptiness. And we're going to learn how to practice it in daily life as well as how to meditate on it so we gain some experience of it. Okay, so now understand everything, all phenomena, as like dreams. Understand all phenomena as like dreams. It's kind of like how Morpheus, that was his name, wasn't it? Morpheus? And doesn't that mean like the god of dreams? Is that Morpheus? I think so. Because I watched Sandman, of course. I mean, of course I would. If you haven't seen it yet and you like things with unicorns and fairies and other fantasy things, you might like it. So I believe that Morpheus is the king of dreams, which is fitting. And he says to Neo, what if you never woke from your dream?
Have you ever had a dream, Neo, that you were so sure was real? What if you were unable to wake from that dream? How would you know the difference between the dream world and the real world?
What if you never woke from your dream? What if you were in a coma and never woke from your dream? How would you know you were dreaming? How would you know it wasn't real? The only thing that allows you to know that it's not real is when you wake up, right? That's when you know it's empty of being real. Okay, now we have to look at this term emptiness. Emptiness does not mean nothingness or that nothing exists. And that is a misconception people often have, that emptiness means nothingness. But the question we really have to ask is, what is reality empty of? It's empty of something. When Buddha says this word emptiness, it's important to ask, what is it empty of? It's empty of independent existence. Now I'm going to explain more about independent existence. In the world of our dream, we think that things exist independently. That's our experience of a dream. We don't think that our dream world exists dependently on our mind projecting it, do we? Even though it's completely a creation of our mind. The dream world is 100% a creation of our mind. But that's not how it appears to us. It actually appears to exist independently of everything, including our mind. It appears to exist inherently. It's another word for it. Inherently of itself. That's what it means, inherently, not depending on anything else. And how we can know that the dream appears to be real, independent, inherent, fixed, objective. It appears to be all those things, which is kind of all synonyms for this. It appears to be inherent, independent, self-created, fixed, objective. The way we know this is because we actually develop strong emotions in our dreams sometimes, don't we? You ever have a nightmare? You're really, really scared. You get so scared. Would you be scared if you didn't think it was real, this world you're inhabiting? No. What about falling in love? Would you be falling in love in your dream? If you're like, "Oh, mind, why?" Or you get really excited about something like, "Oh my gosh, it's my birthday, and I'm gonna get an elephant for my birthday. I'm gonna ride the elephant. I'm gonna fly the elephant." I mean, in your dreams, you can just fly the elephant, should you choose. We have all these strong emotions in our dreams because we think it's real. It is the world that has been pulled over our eyes, and we completely believe it. When we're in that consciousness, that level of consciousness, the dreaming consciousness. And the reason we know it's not real is because we wake up from it. And you're like, "Oh, what? Where's my elephant? Where's the person I fell in love with? Where's that scary monster? Oh, thank goodness. It was just a dream." And we're so relieved because we go into a different state of consciousness and we know that. So, on one level, we have to trust and have some faith in Buddha that said, I've experienced this other level of consciousness where I've woken up and I've experienced reality as it is. And what I'm telling you is that your waking world is like your dream world. It is in part a creation of your mind. Nothing in your real world exists as it appears. Everything in your real world appears real, fixed, existing from its own side, inherent, independent of your mind, independent of the name we give it or the label. And how do we know this? Because we develop very strong feelings in our waking world. We believe it to be real. But what is it actually? It isn't real. And so we have to deconstruct the trap that's created by our own mind. It's kind of like in the Matrix where there's a program that's projecting this world as it is. It's the same thing. We're essentially experiencing a program that's created by what? What is this? Who's created this program? Who's created the Matrix? This is where it differs in the movie. Okay. Who's created it? What's created it? Does anybody have a guess? What?
Our own minds.
Yes, our own minds. And even more specifically, our karma. Our karma's created it. Our actions of the past have created every habit of our mind, every tendency to see things in certain ways. It is so similar to programming a computer software program, actually. Every action is creating the program that we experience. And thus, it's individual for all of us. That's why the world appears so differently. Even if we're in the same room as somebody else, the world is completely different for us because we are in our own matrix. They're in theirs, we're in ours. We're in our own dream world, if you will. Now, if it were true, we'd be experiencing the same dream, wouldn't we? At least if we were in the same room, you'd think we would be experiencing the same dream world. But in fact, it can be so different, can't it? The same experience. It can be so different for two different people, completely different. You're going to look at this in meditation, recollecting a dream you had and what made it seem real and how real it seemed. And then you're going to look at how it is that you and someone else might experience the same situation, but be in completely different worlds. And that shows that no world, no thing, no experience exists inherently. or you'd all experience it the same way. It's just a projection of our mind. And it can be so helpful to look at maybe something that happened recently where you had an argument with someone or something was really uncomfortable for you and another person. There was something confrontational or very uncomfortable, maybe a conflict or something to that effect. And then you're going to look at it. What made it appear this way to you? Okay, I saw it as this is what happened. This is what I was experiencing. Then you're going to look at it from their perspective. You were in the same room potentially. How did they see it? Well, they actually see it very differently. They don't see it the same way. Both are mere projections of mind. And the reason we get upset is because we think our perception's real. Isn't that true? Same as in your dream world, why you get upset because you think it's real. And we experience a really difficult situation with someone. We think our perspective is real. Our opinion is true. Our experience of it, our interpretation of this is the real one. And that's why we suffer, because we believe it's real. So, for example, recently, I never cry. I don't know if I've ever told you guys this, but I cry like Dancing with the Stars, you know, or some kind of reality show like that. Golden Bachelor, I basically bawl through all the golden everythings. Because, their stories like tug at my heart and everything. Or if it's a sad movie or even a sad commercial, I'll cry. But for myself, like just in daily going around, I just do not cry. I don't cry in arguments. I wish I did because I get more sympathy, but I don't. I just don't have that that natural inclination, okay? So you'd never really catch me crying about something. I just don't for some reason. But recently, okay, this is the end of the kitten saga, okay? We had 5 kittens to start with, 5 foster kittens, and we found wonderful homes for the first 3 because they were so perfect, We had they really
Perfect.
they were perfect. They were, it's true. Was that Dave maybe? I don't know, but yes, they were absolutely perfect. So easy, okay? But then we had these final 2 foster kittens that basically when anyone came over would just hide and wouldn't even come out, like, no one could even pet them. I could pet them a little bit, well, one of them more so than the other, and every day I was working with them, trying for, like, 2 hours a day working with the kittens. Their progress was so slow, and I started to worry that this was not gonna happen soon enough because Missy's allergic to adult cats, and she had reached the point when they reached about 10 weeks that she started getting allergic, and now she's at the point where she's taking in her inhaler 5 times a day, which can't be healthy. And I know this dander situation's only gonna get worse from here. So what's gonna happen to my kittens? Right? I'm thinking, will we ever find them homes? What are we gonna do? Like, what are we gonna do? Because they can't stay forever. That Missy has a expiration date for these kittens because of her body. And so one day I just was so worried for them. I was thinking, would we have to like fix them and then put them back in their banyan tree where they were before and have this not this life I wanted them to have and all this stuff. And then I just started crying and I cried and cried and I sat in front of the kittens and cried, hoping I could relate to them. Look, I'm just a human that wants to help you. Kittens, please. I cried to the cat god, if there is one. I just was so upset, and then Missy was working on some project and I went outside and I was crying. I'm just so worried about these kittens. And Missy was experiencing this the exact opposite. She never worried about finding these kittens home. She had like zero worry, but she didn't know how worried I was until I cried about it. And she said, "Oh man, I better really get on this." Because she'd posted about them, but she wasn't urgent in it, you know? It wasn't like an urgency. She was not worried like I was. So there wasn't this, okay, we're gonna find these homes. And do you know within 1 day, we found them a home. The cat whisperer of my dreams took both of them so they could go together. And she says her cats are healing cats, her other cats. So they're going to this healing place and, they're getting along well there now. And oh, I'm just so happy. So happy. But you can see how the same experience was so different. We have these kittens. Missy isn't worried at all, even though it's her allergies. And I'm like mama extreme. That's what Missy says. I mother to the extreme. And I'm so worried. I'm the worried mom. Okay. And though it was the same situation externally, right? We have the same problem. One experiences it as a problem that makes me cry. The other doesn't experience it as a problem at all. It never existed as a problem in her mind. Only when I was deeply affected and showing it, I had worried every day. For weeks, I'd worried every single day and just hid it. It did teach me that maybe one should be more vulnerable so people can help you. It's kind of a very strong and beautiful thing to do. So I'm going to try more to be vulnerable. I'm going to give that a go. I mean, it just came naturally over kittens, but I think it's a wonderful, beautiful thing to express that actually. So if you can see one experience is different for different people, right? Same situation. You think of a situation you had that was difficult with another person, and then you look at it from their experience and your experience, and you discover they are not the same, that they are for sure not perceiving it the same. You and that other person are having different experiences of it. Then how does it exist? It can't exist inherently because that means that situation of yours existed in a fixed way. It's existed inherently, independent of everything, independent of your mind. It existed more like a dream you were having, right? You had one dream, a nightmare. They had another dream, a nightmare. How do things exist? Buddha said you should understand all phenomena as like dreams, dream appearances. I think that this can be a way for us to live in the world and understand that it is not concrete and that you can change the dream you're having. Say you're having a dream with someone else that's a long term conflict. What would happen if you changed the way that you perceived it? Is it possible that you could see it in a way that was no longer such a problem for you? Maybe nothing external would change, but is there a way to perceive this circumstance differently where you accept it and you understand that perhaps it's coming from that other person's suffering and doesn't have anything to do with you, really? It's their dream, their nightmare. And all you have to do maybe is love them. Accept they're a feral kitten. It's okay. All they're ever going to do is hiss at you. Okay. They're just going to run. Okay. I still love you just the way you are, right? You can have your dream and I will have my dream, which is going to be from now on very, very pleasant, you know? Because waking up from the dream of ignorance, unlike the Matrix, it's not they want to wake up and be free, right? In our situation, what Buddha's talking about is waking up and being free of the causes of our suffering. What causes living beings to suffer? It's because they think, and we think that everything we experience is exactly as it appears. And so we cling and become very attached. When we lose it, we suffer because we think that that object truly brings us happiness. Or we develop aversion because we think that object or that person or situation is inherently unpleasant or bad or scary or hurtful. So, us waking up is about experiencing our world in a dreamlike way where we know that things aren't fixed, they're not inherent. It's hard for us to even explain what it must like to be an enlightened being, but apparently it's very blissful, which sounds great. And that you do understand what other living beings are seeing. But we experience things as not existing inherently, not fixed. We experience the emptiness of all things. There's a lot of space in the mind. Thich Nhat Hanh once said, be like the moon surrounded by empty space. We have all the space in our mind when things happen. Oh, this happened. I can look at it this way. I have the space in my mind to change my perception, experience it in a new way. So I want us to meditate on this. We're going to keep looking at the dream analogy next week, but let's get a little taste of it and see if it can even begin to help us in our daily life. All right, so we're going to do what I suggested, where we look at a dream and then you're going to pick an experience that you and someone else had that was difficult or an argument or whatever. We're going to examine the nature of that experience. All right, let's try this. So if you want to get comfortable to meditate, you can have your camera off if you want, or you can sit in a chair, or you can sit on a cushion on the floor. Any way you're comfortable. If you wish to meditate the way Buddha did in the same posture, you can place your hands on your lap with your palms facing upward. Rest your right hand in the left and allow your thumbs to gently touch, forming a bridge. Close your eyes. Breathe through your nostrils. Breathe deeply from your diaphragm. Rather than feeling your chest rise, feel your belly rise and fall with your breath. Contemplate this. Buddha taught that we should understand all phenomena, all things as like dreams. To contemplate this, please recollect a dream that you had recently, or a dream that left a lasting impression. What did you experience in this dream? How did you feel in this dream? What was the strongest emotion you felt? Was it fear, anxiety, love, happiness? Why were you able to feel this strong emotion? Was it because you believed that dream world was real? How real did that dream appear? Now we're going to examine an experience we had to see if it too is like a dream. Bring to mind a situation with another person that was painful or difficult, or even an argument.